Have you ever had that strange feeling that something's not quite right with the world? Like you're walking through a dream, or maybe living in a movie. It's as if there's a thin veil between you and what's really real, and sometimes you can almost see through it. Well, guess what? You're not alone. Millions of people around the world are starting to wake up to the fact that our everyday reality might not be as solid as we once thought. Today, we're going to talk about something big, something that could change your life forever. We're going to explore the idea of the Matrix, not just the movie, but the real-life system that shapes our thoughts, beliefs, and actions without us even realizing it. But here's the exciting part. We're not just going to talk about the problem. We're going to dive into how you can break free from this invisible cage and start living a life that's truly yours. A life full of purpose, meaning, and real happiness. It's about peeling back the layers of illusion and finding the authentic you underneath. This journey isn't always easy, but I promise you, it's worth every step. So if you've ever felt like there's more to life than what you've been told, if you've ever wondered why you can't shake that feeling of emptiness, even when you're doing everything right, or if you're just curious about what lies beyond the everyday world we see, then this video is for you. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew and discover a whole new way of looking at reality. Now let's dig into what we mean when we talk about the Matrix. Forget about the movie for a moment. Although it's a great metaphor for what we're discussing, the real-life matrix is all around us. It's the invisible system of beliefs, rules, and expectations that shape our lives from the moment we're born. Think of it like a pair of glasses you've been wearing your whole life without realizing it. These glasses color everything you see, influencing how you think, feel, and act. The matrix is made up of all the things we accept without question. It's the idea that success means having a big house and a fancy car. It's the belief that we need to look a certain way to be attractive. It's the unspoken rules about how we should behave in society. These ideas aren't necessarily bad, but the problem is that we often follow them blindly without ever stopping to ask if they're really true or if they're really making us happy. Imagine you're playing a video game, but you don't realize it's a game. You think it's real life. You follow the rules of the game, try to win according to its terms, and maybe even get upset when things don't go your way. But what if someone told you it was just a game? Suddenly you'd see everything differently. You might start questioning the rules, looking for shortcuts, or even decide you want to play a different game altogether. That's what we're doing when we start to see through the matrix. We're realizing that many of the rules we've been following are just part of a game we didn't know we were playing. But here's the thing. Unlike a video game, we can't just turn off the matrix and walk away. It's deeply ingrained in our society and our minds. Breaking free from it is a process, a journey of unlearning and relearning. It's about questioning our assumptions, challenging our beliefs, and slowly but surely creating a new reality for ourselves. One that's aligned with our true selves, not just what we've been told we should be. So how do you know if you're stuck in the matrix? It's not always easy to tell, especially when everyone around you seems to be playing by the same rules. But there are some signs that might indicate you're living in a reality that's not truly your own. First, pay attention to that nagging feeling of dissatisfaction. You know the one. It's that voice in the back of your head that whispers, "Is this all there is?" Even when you've achieved all the things you're supposed to want. Maybe you've got the job, the relationship, the nice house, but something still feels off. This persistent feeling of emptiness is often a big red flag that you're living according to someone else's script, not your own. Another sign is a sense of going through the motions. Do you feel like you're on autopilot most of the time, just doing what's expected of you without really thinking about it? Maybe you chose your career because it's what your parents wanted, or you're in a relationship because that's what society says you should do at your age. If you find yourself doing things without really knowing why, or if you can't remember the last time you made a decision that was truly your own, you might be caught in the matrix. Fear of standing out or being different is another common symptom. The matrix thrives on conformity. If you find yourself constantly worrying about what others think, or if you're afraid to express your true thoughts and feelings because they might not fit in with what's normal, that's a sign that the matrix has a strong hold on you. Remember, In the Matrix, fitting in is valued more than being authentic. Do you often feel like you're not good enough? Like you're constantly chasing after some ideal version of yourself, but never quite getting there? This is another trick of the Matrix. It sets up impossible standards and then makes us feel bad for not meeting them. If you're always comparing yourself to others or to some perfect image in your head, you're probably seeing the world through the lens of the Matrix. Lastly, pay attention to how you react when your beliefs are challenged. If you get defensive or upset when someone questions your worldview, or if you find it hard to consider ideas that go against what you've always believed, that's a sign that you might be trapped in a mental cage. The Matrix doesn't like to be questioned, and it programs us to defend it, even against our own best interests. If any of these signs sound familiar, don't worry. Recognizing that you're in the Matrix is the first step to breaking free from it. It's not about judging yourself or feeling bad about where you are. It's about becoming aware so that you can start making choices that are truly your own. Remember, we're all born into the Matrix. It's not your fault that you're in it. But now that you're starting to see it, you have the power to change your relationship with it. You can start questioning those underlying assumptions, challenging those unwritten rules, and slowly but surely crafting a life that's authentically yours. In the next part of our journey, we're going to explore what it means to be authentic and why it's so important. We'll look at the benefits of living your truth and start talking about practical steps you can take to break free from the Matrix. So stick around, because things are about to get really interesting. Your journey to unveiling reality and embracing your authentic self is just beginning. Now that we've talked about the Matrix and how to spot it, let's dive into something more exciting: authenticity. Being authentic isn't about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about being real, being true to yourself. When you're authentic, you're not trying to be someone else or live up to other people's expectations. You're just being you, with all your quirks, strengths, and even your flaws. Think of authenticity like this. Imagine you're a tree. An authentic tree doesn't try to be a different kind of tree. An oak doesn't wish it were a pine. It just grows in the way it's meant to grow, reaching for the sun in its own unique way. That's what being authentic is all about. It's about growing into who you really are, not who you think you should be. Being authentic means being honest with yourself and others about what you think, feel, and believe. It's about making choices based on your own values and desires, not just because it's what everyone else is doing. When you're authentic, you're not afraid to show your true colors, even if they're different from the people around you. But here's the thing, being authentic isn't always easy. In a world that often values fitting in over standing out, being true to yourself can feel scary. It might mean going against the grain sometimes, or disappointing people who have certain expectations of you. But the freedom and peace that come with authenticity are worth the challenge. So why should we care about being authentic? Why go through all the trouble of breaking free from the Matrix and being true to ourselves? Well, the benefits are pretty amazing. First off, being authentic brings a deep sense of peace. When you're not constantly trying to be someone you're not, you can relax into your own skin. That nagging feeling of something being off starts to fade away. You might find yourself feeling more comfortable and confident, even in situations that used to make you nervous. Authenticity also leads to better relationships. When you're real with people, you attract others who appreciate the real you. Your connections become deeper and more meaningful. You're no longer trying to impress people or be what you think they want you to be. Instead, you're forming bonds based on who you truly are. Living authentically can also boost your creativity and productivity. When you're not wasting energy pretending or holding back parts of yourself, you have more energy for the things that really matter to you. You might find yourself coming up with new ideas, taking on challenges you wouldn't have dared before, or finally pursuing that dream you've been putting off. Another big benefit is improved mental health. Trying to be someone you're not is stressful. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a constant feeling of being on edge. But when you embrace your authentic self, a lot of that stress melts away. You're no longer at war with yourself, trying to fit into a mold that doesn't suit you. Authenticity can also lead to a stronger sense of purpose. When you're living in line with your true self, you naturally gravitate towards the things that really matter to you. You start to understand what you want out of life, not just what you've been told you should want. This can give your life a new sense of direction and meaning. Lastly, being authentic just feels good. There's a joy that comes from being true to yourself, from expressing your real thoughts and feelings, from living life on your own terms. It's like finally being able to breathe deeply after holding your breath for a long time. Now that we understand the importance of authenticity, let's talk about how to actually break free from the matrix and start living more authentically. This isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey, and it takes time and effort. But every step you take towards authenticity is a step towards a more fulfilling life. The first step is to start questioning everything. And I mean everything. The beliefs you hold, the goals you're chasing, the rules you follow. Ask yourself where they came from. Are they really yours? Or did you just absorb them from your family, friends, or society? This doesn't mean you have to reject everything. Some of your beliefs and goals might truly resonate with you, but the point is to examine them consciously rather than just accepting them blindly. Next, get to know yourself. Really know yourself. This might sound obvious, but many of us don't take the time to explore who we are beneath the surface. Try new things. Pay attention to what excites you, what bores you, what makes you feel alive. Keep a journal to track your thoughts and feelings. Meditation can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. The goal is to understand your own mind, your own heart, without the noise of other people's expectations. Learn to listen to your inner voice. We all have that quiet voice inside us that knows what's right for us, but often we've learned to ignore it in favor of doing what we think we should do. Start paying attention to your intuition, your gut feelings. When you're making a decision, check in with yourself. Does it feel right? Or are you just doing it because you think it's expected of you? Practice saying no to things that don't align with your authentic self. This can be tough, especially if you're used to pleasing others, but it's crucial for living authentically. You don't have to be rude about it, but learn to politely decline invitations, requests, or opportunities that don't feel right to you. Remember, every time you say no to something that's not authentic to you, you're saying yes to something that is. Start expressing your true thoughts and feelings, even if they're different from those around you. This doesn't mean being confrontational or disrespectful. It just means being honest about your perspective. If you disagree with something, say so. If you have an idea, share it. It might feel scary at first, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Surround yourself with people who support your authentic self. As you start to live more authentically, you might find that some relationships change. Some people might be uncomfortable with the new you. That's okay. Focus on nurturing relationships with people who appreciate you for who you really are, not who they want you to be. Be patient with yourself. Breaking free from the matrix and embracing your authentic self is a process. You'll have setbacks. There will be times when you fall back into old patterns. Don't beat yourself up about it. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Lastly, remember that authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Your authentic self isn't some idealized version of you. It's the real you, with all your strengths and weaknesses, your brilliance and your flaws. Embracing your authentic self means accepting all of who you are, even the parts you might not like. As you start taking these steps, you might find that your life begins to change in unexpected ways. You might discover new passions, make new friends, or find yourself on a completely different path than you imagined. That's the beauty of living authentically. It opens up possibilities you might never have seen before. Navigating the challenges. As you embark on this journey of authenticity, it's important to be prepared for some challenges along the way. Breaking free from the matrix isn't always smooth sailing, but understanding these obstacles can help you navigate them more easily. One of the biggest challenges you might face is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think, fear of failure. When you've been living in the matrix for so long, stepping out of it can feel scary. You might worry about losing friends or disappointing family members. You might fear that you won't be able to succeed if you don't follow the normal path. Remember, these fears are normal. They're part of the Matrix's defense mechanism, trying to keep you in line. Recognize these fears for what they are, acknowledge them, but don't let them stop you. Another challenge is dealing with the discomfort of change. As you start living more authentically, you might feel like you're in unfamiliar territory. The old rules don't apply anymore, and you're figuring out new ones. This can feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming at times. It's like learning to walk all over again. You might stumble, you might fall, but each time you get up, you're stronger and more sure-footed. You might also face resistance from others. Not everyone will understand or support your journey towards authenticity. Some people might try to pull you back into old patterns. They might question your choices or criticize your new way of living. This doesn't necessarily mean they're bad people. They might just be scared of change themselves. But it can be tough to deal with, especially if it's coming from people close to you. Self-doubt is another common challenge. As you question old beliefs and try new ways of being, you might sometimes wonder if you're doing the right thing. You might have moments where you think about giving up and going back to your old life. This is normal. Remember, you're undoing years of conditioning. It takes time and patience. Lastly, you might face the challenge of feeling lost or directionless at times. When you step out of the Matrix, you're also stepping away from its predefined paths and goals. Suddenly, you're responsible for figuring out your own direction in life. This can feel both liberating and terrifying. You might go through periods where you're not sure what you want or where you're headed. Despite these challenges, remember that each one is an opportunity for growth. They're signs that you're making progress, that you're truly breaking free from the old patterns and creating a new, authentic life for yourself. Let me share a bit about my own experience with escaping the Matrix and embracing authenticity. A few years ago, I was living what many would consider a successful life. I had a high-paying job, a nice apartment, and all the trappings of success. But inside I felt empty. I was constantly stressed, never felt like I had enough time, and couldn't shake the feeling that I was living someone else's life. It took a health scare to wake me up. Lying in a hospital bed, I realized I had been chasing goals that weren't really mine. I had been living according to other people's expectations, not my own desires. That was my first glimpse of the Matrix. From that point on, I started questioning everything. I began to meditate, journal, and really listen to my inner voice. I realized that what I really wanted was to help others, to create, to live a life of meaning rather than just accumulation. Making changes wasn't easy. When I quit my job to pursue my passion, many people thought I was crazy. I faced financial uncertainty, self-doubt, and plenty of sleepless nights. But with each authentic choice I made, I felt more alive, more like myself. Today, my life looks very different from what it once did. I may not have all the material possessions I used to, but I have something far more valuable, a sense of purpose, genuine relationships, and the joy of living true to myself. The journey isn't over. I'm still learning, still growing, still becoming more authentic every day. But I can say without a doubt that choosing to break free from the Matrix and embrace my authentic self was the best decision I've ever made. As we wrap up this exploration of reality, the Matrix and authenticity, remember that this is just the beginning. The journey to unveiling reality and embracing your authentic self is a lifelong adventure. It's not about reaching a destination, but about continually growing, learning, and becoming more truly yourself. Breaking free from the Matrix isn't easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. As you start to question your assumptions, challenge your beliefs, and make choices that align with your true self, you'll likely face obstacles. You'll have moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, but you'll also experience moments of profound joy, deep connection, and a sense of freedom you might never have known was possible. Remember, there's no one right way to be authentic. Your journey will be uniquely yours. What matters is that you're true to yourself, that you listen to your inner voice, and that you have the courage to live according to your own values and desires, not someone else's expectations. As you move forward, Be kind to yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Every authentic choice you make, every time you question the matrix, every moment you spend getting to know your true self, it all adds up. You're not just changing your own life, you're contributing to a larger shift in consciousness. As more and more people wake up and start living authentically, we create a world that's more genuine, more compassionate, and more alive. So are you ready to take the red pill? Are you ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Your journey to unveiling reality and embracing authenticity starts now. It won't always be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. Here's to living your truth, to being unapologetically you, and to creating a life that's truly your own. The real world is waiting for you. All you have to do is step into it.